Okay.
Yeah, all right.
Oh, look at that.
Barbara. Just in time, Barbara. Perfect timing. Yep.
That's kind of good.
To keep us awake in case it goes long.
Do you have any, yeah, communication there?
I don't see anybody up there.
Okay, no. All right, approval of the minutes of October 9th.
What? Yeah.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Extensions. All right. No, we don't have to do application. So. Aquarian water main. Roland Street.
The rocks, I think it's pretty good. Keep it.
I think it'll hold.
Can you pull it a little bit further?
It's slide it
Oh.
over. Perfect.
There we go.
There we go.
So, yeah, I can go over here. The way we camera. Aquarium replacing the 6-inch water main on Roland Street, with a new 8-inch water main to improve water flow, upgrade the system. It's an aging main that's been identified for replacement. And we'll be passing by the 12-inch RCP coming through, connecting stream on both sides. Looked into some options that would not really benefit, for better for the wetlands impact, because it would actually be going into the wetlands as opposed to within the 100-foot limits. There will be a little more work as far as service connections, but all in all, will be mostly in the roadway.
Alex, can you just state your name and who you're with?
Alex Parisi, on behalf of Aquarium Water Company. Sorry about that.
Good.
And your depth below the pipe.
Below the 12-inch RCP, we will maintain a minimum of 1 foot to 18-inch clearance. Our main is top of main 4 to 4.5 feet, bottom of our trench. That would bring it to around 5 feet or so.
Expecting any problems in the dig there on the road?
No, I don't believe so. They have not done test bits in the roadway, but so far along West Mystic, they're working right now. Digging's been pretty good, so.
None of Connecticut's favorite boulders or anything?
Not too many, only a couple have made an appearance.
They're doing better than my yard. When they dug in my yard. All right. Other questions?
No, just make note that we had a site walk on this property on Monday.
Yeah.
And so we've seen this property and been out and looked at it.
And you did ask where the water flow was, so I did have a little map for you.
That's my rest of my
Take a look at
question.
that.
I asked a few neighbors, but
It's right there. Basically, probably in the middle picture. It ends up here,
Huh.
but it does flow down to the pond and then out.
Yeah, BP code.
so that's Littleton's care. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a hillside outbreak.
Good.
Yes, I can see it.
Let's see it.
Hey, do you want to turn your mic on?
Yeah,
Turn it, no, yours is good.
Just hit your right button right there.
There we go. Perfect. Thank you.
everything flows
They're gonna
down.
reach out and
Yes.
touch me.
Okay, thanks, Dave.
You're welcome.
Thanks for getting that. Appreciate it.
All right, Deb, you have
I have a motion that you guys saw the draft motion
Anyone need a copy of that?
Unless you want me to pull it up on my phone. But the problem is, was this in the 54-page one? Because
No, this came today.
Okay, it came today.
This came
Okay.
today.
See it.
I still like
Give
the
it to all
paper.
you.
Just a quick, we can share it.
Everyone else need a copy?
Yeah, why not? Thanks.
I make a motion to approve the inland wetlands 24-0009 Aquarian water main replacement at 9.5 Roland Street, for the excavation within 100-foot upland review area involving the replacement of the water main and associated residential service line connections on Roland Street. There will be no adverse environmental impact on the watercourse or associated wetlands. The erosion and sediment control plan will provide an adequate protection for the watercourse during construction. This permit is subject to the 4 standard conditions.
Second.
All right. Questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstentions? You're good to go.
Thank you.
All right.
Let's hope it's as dry as it is now.
Yeah, right.
Let's hope it's not as dirty.
Well, I mean, for his
For
project,
another 10 days. Nothing.
it's incredibly dry. Crystal Lake Apartments.
Good evening. Again, for the record, my name is Bill Sweeney. I'm a land use attorney and a partner at Tobin Carberry over in New London. It's nice to see everyone again this evening. As you know, I represent Zero Crystal Lake LLC, which has a pending application for you for regulated activities associated with their new 92-unit multifamily development located south of Crystal Lake Road across from the U.S. subbase. We've been working with you for the last couple of months on this application. We've done a site walk. We had a full presentation at the last meeting. There were some remaining outstanding comments and requested plan revisions that were made at the last meeting. So tonight, what I'd like to do is focus our presentation on following up on those issues. Our engineer, Joe DeHamill, is going to go through those revisions with you step by step. We did submit those within the last week or so to staff. Staff has reviewed them, and we got a reply back from Bryce that he had no further comments. So we believe we're in a position for approval tonight. I know there's a draft motion that has been prepared. We've reviewed that. It's more than acceptable. Again, we wanted to thank the staff for their hard work on this project. But at this time, I'd ask Joe to come forward and put the revised plans on and just go through those revisions as requested. Thank you.
Evening.
Good evening.
You need the rocks.
Joe DeHamill with project manager of Green Engineering on behalf of the applicant and the team. As mentioned from Bill, we've been working with planning staff and Bryce, and we responded to comments and some feedback from you guys last time we met. We provided a response to comments, and I'd like to go through them. One of the main things that we kind of addressed last time was what we further updated was all work outside the 100-foot upland area along this the wetland line is been removed, so no grading, no temporary measures, silt fence, erosion control. We provided the detail of how that worked out outside of the area.
Right.
And we did it plan wise, and also with Chad's landscape architecture plans. You can see that as well.
Could you speak up a little? I can't quite hear you.
You can use the mic.
You can, if you need to.
I just
Or you can pull it closer to you and then it'll read more.
Um. On the project plans, a lot of our focus last time was the soil erosion plan. And adding additional details that can call out to that. We have since revised that plan and worked with the applicant on the plan itself. Provided additional details to the effect. From the comments, we've listed out the area of A series wetland to be excavated as part of the work, 47 cubic yards of material. We've added additional phasing notes on the project about suggestion of phasing as we come into the site. So right now we described 4 phases. We're coming to the site. I can't read it down, so. We're coming to the site, stake out the limit of disturbance. We will install the stone riprap entrance. We will cut the trees. We will install silt fence barrier and with a wood fill backing. We provided notation of that along across the silt fence, and we provided a detail of that in the plan set as well. We have identified 7 traps, enlarged the size of them based on conversations that Josh, the applicant, has said during the last meeting, focusing the water within the area of the front building of the pad. So the work would be involved taking the cut slope and filling in the first building pad and using that as a sedimentation trap area. We have called out areas for processing, stockpile areas, staging, and concrete washout as well. Once the site is, the first phase of work, the fill condition of the building and the 7 traps are in. Our phase 2 talks about further cutting the slope and constructing the 1-to-1 riprap slope. As part of some of the other columns discussion, we had there was a conversation about what that slope may look like.
Thank you for that. You see this on the internet?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
I
sent
did.
us a picture
I have a
of that.
question
Yeah.
about that. Can I ask?
Yes.
You said the rocks on there are gonna be 6 to 12
Yeah,
inches,
I got that.
but how many layers? Or just one layer? So
Could be one layer.
it just depends.
Varying in depth, yeah, maybe 12 to 18 inches. We can provide details of that. Later on.
And what happens once weeds start growing in there?
There would be a geofabric to help prevent weeds from in there.
Oh, underneath?
Mhm.
Ah,
I don't believe in this condition, Josh, in experience, you see a lot of
Mm-mm.
weeds or growth in this.
There's no soil
Yeah.
to provide.
There's no what?
Soil.
To provide.
Mm.
well, that's why I was wondering how deep it was.
Well, they'll just have to weed whack if it does.
Mm.
Oh,
Mm.
So this is a site that the pre-engineering has worked on. It's an example of what it could look like. I think in context, this is about 35 feet total height with pavement.
Yeah, pretty serious rip wrapping.
It's a nice moonscape.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Keep going.
The other item we talked about was just kind of a cross section of the project area. So look at that. It's a cross section of the site from the street. This is Crystal Lake. My fingers are, and then you walk up. This is that front building where we'll be filling in the area. You can tell by the existing grade mark and post grade is dark line. And then where the A-series wetland is, that's in the location in the center of the second building. That's where we had our site walk. We're looking at that. And then behind that, you can tell the slope excavation and the one-to-one slope. All these details would be further coordinated with a geotech engineer and design in detail prior to construction of the building permit. That's generally the updates to the plans. Again, the main focus of the project was, what we talked about last time was the soil erosion. Entertain any comments or questions that you may have.
I have a question about the underground tanks.
Mm.
It's not just a big open space, is it? What's in there?
Once installed, the proposed tanks, they're 3-4 feet wide, pipes. Underground pipes.
That's why you have these sort of hoopy things here.
Yes.
That's
just to show context where in the cross section where the underground systems are.
okay, but so the water is in those pipes, it's not out, not in the rest of it?
Correct. Water would be captured by the proposed catch basin system and directed to these underground detention systems.
Which end does it go in and which end does it come out?
There's several in the points. There's catch basins in the parking field. Essentially goes into where, into the site, into the underground systems. And eventually, the one system goes out to Crystal Lake. And there's another system that comes out in another point connection. So it all gets down to Crystal Lake Road.
You have a plan to clean these?
Yes, yeah, there's part of the comments was about the maintenance of the system. So there's a operations and maintenance plan and report that describes the checklist requirements for this.
Other questions?
And there's obviously no increase in runoff off to Crystal Lake.
Yeah.
I think we talked about that last time.
And that was reviewed by the Navy.
Yep.
So basically, that before.
Could you just go back to the ENS
Another
plan real
question.
quick and highlight the added protection to that wetland? I think we spoke about it the last meeting, but it's been shown on the plan now. I think it's the wood chips that are at the berm of wood chips and that.
We had the silt fence along the 100-foot upland area, maybe even on top of it, but we've put it offset from the 100-foot upland, and we provided call out and then detail showing the wood chips. Kind of burns it up along. So this is the stake silt fence, this is straw water and wattle, and then there's these wood, just a diagram of wood chips to be thrown to be honest, placed at the top.
That's great.
All right.
Robbie, you had one more question?
Yeah. On page 3 of this design point, what are these design points? This is where you did the testing?
This is the analysis for the stormwater system. It's saying the precondition as it is today.
Yeah, I get this. But what do you mean by design point?
We're
You did it?
analyzing what water gets to the drainage system in the road.
Oh, okay.
So,
Hmm.
Can I ask what is the benefit of having riprap rather than planting something?
I think stabilization of the slope, ease of construction.
It's already gonna be on site, the stone will be taken out of the material that we're gonna be cutting.
I didn't hear your answer, I'm sorry.
Less, the material will be generated on site.
Yep.
And there'll be less maintenance over the place.
less chance for erosion.
Less chance for.
Yeah, certainly don't want to.
It's a more stable.
You don't want to slope like that, that's grass. You want to make sure that if there is a 100-year storm event and you have water coming down that slope, that the slope holds. So that's part of the reason for it. Sort of it is the maintenance, but it's also the durability of the slope.
The
All right,
rocks. that
other
you're talking
questions?
about.
I know you have a,
Draft motion. Anybody need a copy?
Wonder how much force you need to move those rocks.
So I don't know.
100-year storm or 1,000 years.
Well, they've upgraded 100-year storm, so it really is stronger than. Yep. So I'm gonna need I read this when you sent it. I'm gonna need to just rework this wording for me to feel comfortable with this. Because I don't like to say any wetland is insignificant. I surely get that it's man-made. You knew this, Deb, right? You know me so well. After 30 years, you know me so well. So
parse that out. Could end at man-made.
This drop and is insignificant.
yeah, I'm just gonna have to leave that out. Post-storm will likely surpass attenuation functions of the eliminated wetland. So have we in fact, have they proved that comment, this number 2? So the proposed stormwater systems on the site will likely surpass attenuation functions of the eliminated wetland. I mean, that is obvious since that was a teeny tiny little wetland.
So that
I'm
comes
just-
directly from that updated wetland report that their soil scientists reported on at the last meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you pulled that straight from that?
Yeah, that was in summation at the end.
No,
of
it's for sure a true statement. It's just an interesting statement from in my experience. So, all right, thank you for that. And this plan incorporates a strict erosion control plan will protect the more valuable wetland. And again, I just would prefer to say the valuable wetland along the east side of the site. This limits should be marked in the field, inspected by town. And that's great because the trail will be also inspected by town before. All right, anybody else have any commentary on that? Anybody?
No, I agree with you.
All right, I make a motion to approve the inland wetlands 24-0008 Crystal Lake Apartments at 0 Crystal Lake Road. Regulated activity, elimination of a 1,276 square foot man-made wetland and the creation of a natural surface trail within the upland review area. To approve this Crystal Lake apartment application for the following reasons. This project involves the loss of 1,276 square feet of wetland. This wetland is man-made. Number 2, the proposed stormwater systems on the site will likely surpass attenuation functions of the eliminated wetland. Number 3, this plan incorporates a strict erosion control plan, which will protect the valuable wetland along the east side of the site. This permit is subject to the 4 standard conditions and the following modifications. Number 1, the limit of disturbance shall be marked in the field and inspected by town staff prior to the start of construction. Number 2, the applicant will coordinate the location of the natural surface trail with town staff prior to the construction to ensure that adverse impacts to the site are mitigated.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, abstentions, all right.
You guys have been great.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll miss you.
Well, not that much.
Hey, I'll miss them.
Thanks, Ron.
Those rocks. I collect those for Deb on vacation. That one with the line in it came from Nova Scotia.
We've got some beautiful black. Up there.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
My sister brought it all.
I cleared them out.
My own, but it's old school.
Yes.
I know.
Are those underground stormwater things always like that? I
Get rid of
would just
that, too.
assume they were big open pits.
No,
There are different types.
Yeah, I know.
Like the ones that they put under parking lots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can't be big as ones.
Well, I saw a picture of one once and it was a big open thing.
well, they have those.
But that can't be under a parking lot.
There's one in front of Coles
Yeah.
in that
yeah.
parking lot,
That's what I thought. And
Yeah.
that's a big open thing, isn't it?
under that parking lot.
Yeah.
Is it open one?
No,
No.
close one.
That's what I'm saying.
No,
They
it's a
showed pictures.
large tank, for lack of a better word.
You see, what you were confused as, that was a cross section. So those are all long pipes.
Pipes within this other thing. Yeah.
Within the substrate,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, what else we got?
Okay. So Three
All right.
Kings Highway, that particular date did not work for the gentleman who requested the sidewalk.
No worries.
He said any other date, but that one is good. So
Hmm.
what works for you all?
Let's see, what's the date of this coming Monday?
The 21st,
No.
28th,
20.
the 28th or?
9th?
I think it's the 29th, 28th.
Monday's 20th.
Monday's fine with me.
So wait,
Yeah.
So what works for him?
he said any day, but
That's
this past day.
Okay,
all right.
it's not a Monday,
Okay.
Monday wasn't.
No, it
tough.
wasn't Monday.
I
He had a
can-
long weekend planned and that was, yeah, so anything else works for him.
I can't do the Monday.
Okay.
No,
Yeah, it's the only day, I
do
think.
Tuesday.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't do Tuesday.
Tuesday's no good for you, Annie?
Tuesday, and then
No.
what's
do
Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Wednesday, the 30th, as Wednesday, the 30th.
Wednesday's fine.
Going.
Wednesday is good.
Cause I'm not gonna be able to do. Are you guys good? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I should be on.
Okay.
All right, so Wednesday it is.
3:30?
3:30.
3:30.
Yep.
Does everybody remember where this is? Annie, not you, but it's right near us, so you don't need to worry. Remember we walked this before, it's on Flanders Road?
I
Wait.
know I should
It's
remember.
over a calendar. It used to be.
This is Kings Highway, here where the former Caldors was.
Oh,
That
yeah,
became Kaiser became Electric Boat, right,
Right,
that's the one.
that's the one.
So it's
Yeah.
right
It's
across
All
from
along Route
the
12.
new
But-
restaurant.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
How are we accessing that property?
Oh.
You turn down.
It's still.
You're gonna park
We'll
it.
have to figure that, we'll figure that out.
What was the question?
No.
Yeah.
184 is.
All right, so
going this way.
3:30 on
12
the
going
30th.
this way.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
And you've gone under the highway and then you turn down into this and
We'll send them out.
we'll send them out.
Remember,
Yeah,
we just
yeah.
went there, it was the 99
We went
restaurant?
to that restaurant across
We
the
were just
street.
there. You remember,
Yeah, I will.
once you get there, you will.
Yeah, 99 used to be there and what was the other one on the other side?
Used to be a Volkswagen place.
Oh, I know exactly where you mean. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep.
You just have to go back one.
We weren't just there.
There was a.
Yes, at one time. Yeah. a
All
lot of
right.
Things there.
That's before my
All
time.
right, sorry about that, Deb. I was thinking of that Flanders Road, because that was,
Which is
that was
the
the one I
Grossman's.
couldn't, yeah.
No, it was in that area, Grossman's, in the lumberyard.
That's right, that's exactly right. It used to be down there.
Oh, yeah, but not on that.
No.
That's right, okay.
Mm-mm.
I'm with you now.
Mhm.
It's where the self-storage facility is. Yes, anyway, we're done. Go ahead.
Oh, we have a preliminary discussion.
You.
95 and 103 Flanders Road.
So just to preface Seamus Moran's presentation here, I've had some discussions with Seamus about the likelihood of this getting a permit and what's allowed by zoning. But they wanted to talk to you about it. When Seamus is done, I can kind of go over what the zoning issues are here, aside from the wetland issues.
Thank you.
Sure.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having us again tonight. I guess for the first time in a while. I'm Seamus Moran. I work for H&H Engineering Associates. What we have here, this is the plan. Don't bother looking at really anything on the plan. Other than what we're looking at is, I printed out an aerial, that's an underlay, just to kind of see this area. There's two properties that Nick owns. Nick Zaheen, is in the back here, with us. He owns 103 Flanders Road, which is his front property, and he owns 95 Flanders Road, which is his back property.
Do you all know where this is?
No.
Yes.
Right, that's, that's what I figured. Can you describe it a bit more? for them?
Timbuktu, or it used to be Timbuktu, now it's Nick's boatyard.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
Just north.
just exactly just north of that. So
Yeah.
this is, Nick owns a couple properties.
Across, is it across
So
from it?
I think his boatyard is right about here.
It's across from the subdivision that's Mystic Way it's a new road that goes in,
Yeah.
that abuts Bel Air. It's across the street from that, from Flanders Road.
Okay.
But before.
Yeah.
But
Right,
proximal
exactly.
to it, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Is the sheep farm on this map?
The sheep farm, there's one house right here.
Yeah.
And then the sheep farm is here.
Exactly.
Mm.
All right, exactly.
So what Nick has is the property in the front and the property in back, and he owns both of them, and he has owned them. There's a wetland that you can see, this dark area that bisects the front property. There's a little woods road dash line to get to the rear property. Right now, it's unimproved. But really what I want to point out on this plan is that he has this area in the back. I kind of traced out the clearing limits here. That'll go to this plan next. Traced out the clearing limits of where the woods are. The wetlands are from an old map that he had, I believe from 20 years ago. So any wetlands would of course have to be reflagged. But the main thing that we want to talk about is the wetlands that were flagged up here on his 103 property. In order to improve any kind of access to the back, we would have to do something over the wetland or through the wetland or above the wetland or bridge the wetland or some sort of something like that. And before we put any money into any engineering back here, we wanted to talk to the commission and see what the commission, what your thoughts were and what your temperature was on getting an access to this back property, and whether or not, you know, you prefer a bridge, you prefer a wetland prefer a wetland crossing with a wetland creation area. If there's anything that
They don't
we
work.
could do. They don't, which one, the wetland creation areas or the
Yes.
bridge?
The state is famous for that, and it takes them 75 years to work.
Yeah, understood.
Mm.
I
Plus, there's
agree.
also a pretty significant wetland right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of wetlands, yeah, exactly. all
Yeah,
over.
along there's a wetland corridor there.
So
yeah.
for the record, we had an application on this property. I don't know if the present owners owed it then, whatever, it doesn't matter. So we are familiar
Gotcha.
since we've all been on this agency.
Yep.
Half of our lives, if not more.
Nick, it's relatively new ownership
okay.
of the front property.
Just
so I don't
checking,
think it was.
all right, just making sure that you,
Gotcha.
but yeah, so why don't you continue with your
Sure, so
spiel
then
to the
this
second page.
plan here. It's just cleaned up, doesn't have the aerial, as I said, the tree lines here. What Nick originally was hoping to do is to put some duplex affordable housing in the back, which Deb told me, you're an idiot, don't bother. We already
Affordable,
have.
did you say? Affordable. Okay, sorry.
Um,
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, so I didn't understand, I didn't realize that Groton had already exceeded the 10% threshold, so affordable isn't anything we can consider on this property. Well, we can't, I guess we can consider it, but it doesn't bypass any of the zoning regulations. So what you see here doesn't matter. We can't present this. We have to go back to the drawing board if we're gonna do anything. But before we spent any money on evaluating what else we could do here, we really wanted to talk to you to see, just to gauge your interest and your temperature on what we can do here and what the best way to improve the best way to approach this would be.
Well, if you're gonna bridge that, that's a long bridge.
Very long. But unfortunately, that's sort of the
And it's
direction I'm leaning in.
Yeah, I mean, that's a long
Yeah.
bridge.
And it's a sensitive area, you know, it's.
Yeah.
So bridge meaning,
Meaning
How
bridge
elevated?
off,
Oh, we don't tell,
off
we
the
don't tell.
ground,
yeah,
Yeah.
bypass underneath, you
But
know,
they'd have
Yeah.
to design, and that's the,
Yeah.
that's the.
that would have to be designed,
By
yeah.
them,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So, and as for a wetland fill situation, if we were to create, you know, essentially 2 to 1, if we were to do something like that, you know, he owns this front property.
2 to
And he
1
has
what?
this corridor, so if we were to fill, say, 1,000 square feet.
No.
And we were to add
No.
2,000 square feet, that's not.
No, we
No.
wouldn't do
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. We have not had good luck with mitigation like that.
But
Yeah,
find another
mitigation
piece
is-
of property to
doesn't
access
work.
it.
So you would be talking about spanning a significant
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's,
portion
there's
of
a
that.
long stretch here.
Yeah, I don't know what the length of that is, but I'm sure it's long.
And part of it, I looked at a potential sight line to keep it one lane to then have a stop bar at each end, so you have like one access before the stop, but to go from one side to the next with the vegetation, you have to cut back a lot of the vegetation to be able to see the other vehicle, and that's really not gonna work either.
Right.
So we try to get a little creative with some of our thought process, and you know, we're pinched, of course,
absolutely,
between this wetland to be able to get to this back property.
Is that the only path?
May I see the bottom sheet again, please?
Yeah, that's the path right now.
Yeah.
That's not what I asked. I asked if that's the only path possible.
To access the rear. Yeah, that's the only, I'm sorry, maybe I'm misunderstanding the question, sorry.
Well, obviously wider, narrower back here, can the road do that kind of thing? I know you like engineers like straight roads.
Yeah, no, I love curvature, but the wetland
Yeah.
bisects this property.
But they narrow as you move.
No.
And I don't think,
It gets a
and I
little
don't
narrower
think, and I
here.
don't think he owns up there, Dave.
Yeah.
You
He
know,
owns to this point here.
Yeah.
It's about the same.
Oh,
as
yeah.
Already.
I see.
partial.
it's just that skinny little piece there that he owns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's.
So you see, I mean, you've drawn your own little nice little hill-shaped,
Yes.
Yeah.
whatever that shape, ellipse, I don't know.
Yeah,
And you see the wetland impact is
yeah,
significant.
the whole front property.
Yeah, so you see where we
Yeah, understood.
would be leaning in that direction.
So they would have.
I think the previous application was for a driveway. It was a skinny driveway or something.
No, not exactly. So the front lot was part of a 3-lot subdivision along Flanders Road. The 2 lots to the north of
Yep.
this piece have been developed. There are a
Okay.
couple of raised ranches there. This one has remained vacant since the time of subdivision.
Gotcha.
So this is an RU20 zone. So duplexes are allowed. But again, what Seamus has shown here is essentially a multi-family development. They're not on separate lots, right? So that is not allowed by the zoning. Again, Groton is not an 830G community, which is a community that has less than 10% deeded affordable housing. And if you are, then applicants are allowed to not adhere to the existing zoning because it was found that, affordable housing is really more important than dealing with the zoning. Okay, so we're not in that position here.
Gotcha.
So any kind of development here has to adhere to the zoning, 20,000 square foot lots. You can put a duplex on it. While, it may be possible to subdivide the rear lot, they all have to have the required frontage out on Flanders Road, whether or not they use it, they can have a combined driveway. But the zoning requires a certain width for that combined driveway, which is probably wider than what is there now. So that's kind of where, and then the other thing is, while this would be served by public water, there is no sewer here. So they would all be on septic system. So those are some of the constraints that they're
How about the
dealing with.
fire access?
Well, if there were houses back here, yeah, definitely the fire marshal would have something to say about the driveway and whether or not it's heavy, built to
For
carry
fire
there.
trucks and all
Exactly.
that, yeah.
Exactly.
So it sounds like you've got some other commissions that you need to speak to.
There would be a lot that has to go into this.
Yeah.
And before we started getting into that, we want to talk to you guys, because in order to get here, we have to go through your commission anyway, so.
Seamus, is there a pipe under this driveway? I don't see one located on your plan, and I frankly don't remember. Okay.
I drove it, I didn't see a pipe, but it was also, I walked through it.
Yeah, I just don't remember. So I think I don't think it was an application. It started off as an enforcement action, I think. With widening of the driveway that then morphed into a permit to get it all stabilized. For the access in the back.
I appreciate your memory.
Yep.
Even Nicker here, I'm not sure if either of you guys want to ask.
Good evening, everybody. My name is David Burke, owner of the construction group or construction, advanced construction or advanced group. I have a question. You're talking about bridge. Can we use any pylons or anything on the wetlands, or you have to have a clear span, what you're saying?
we would definitely not be.
I don't
opposed to
think you
clear
could
expanse.
span that
I
in
was just
one
gonna say,
span.
what's the distance there?
It's the distance of wetlands, and this is, I'm just going by memory, over probably 35 feet, 40 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, that would be, you see, it's sort of a gray area for us. You're asking for preliminary input. And then once you make the app, then we would go out and we would have a peek at it.
Oh, right, whatever you say, that, you know, you do not have to
That's right.
abide by when you
Yeah,
get an
that's right.
application.
This is just conversation. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Nick has owned this property for a long time and hasn't done nothing with that, so is the time to do something with that now, or I'll deal with this.
Yeah.
right, right.
This was,
In Thailand, there would be a problem also
Yeah.
with it.
it was.
You know, right in the way.
This driveway.
Right, so that's why.
You know, that's the
becomes
other thing, yeah.
Because
It's a difficult site.
I mean, it's definitely doable for sure, it's just, again, without disturbing the wetlands,
Yeah.
I'm pretty familiar with the work around it, so I'm not saying construction wise, but obviously we're gonna have to have some sort of legs into the wetlands in order to support the span, because there's no way that. So it's
Right.
250 feet.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah.
350
How
feet.
much-
The length of the wetland from edge to edge here is
Yeah,
about
250 feet
Wow.
or so, yeah.
Wow.
You have a lead in and lead out, you know.
Yeah.
And so the work, we obviously have to have pilings for each of the individual
Which-
spans.
Which then is a problem also.
But one side of, I mean, I know this is a continuous, but one side it is, I mean, one way or one path is pretty clear, though. You could go with any apparatus or any vehicle size to that site as far as that goes, so.
Mhm.
Well, like I said, I think all we should say now is that's the level of protection that we're looking for. We really need an application. We
Yeah.
can't have that sort of minutia of discussion about pylons and where they'd be and all that kind of stuff. Because that the onus is on you guys for that. And then we look at it, look at the wetlands, see the impact versus, you know,
But we're certain about that's the only way you're gonna cross that.
Right.
We're not gonna allow you to build the causeway across there.
Yeah, and I didn't bring the zoning regulations with me, but you definitely want to look at the section with the combined driveway. I'm pretty sure that the access out to Flanders Road has to be usable. Meaning you have the ability to actually construct a driveway if you need to, and I don't, anyway. It's zoning,
Yeah.
just for, I don't know how many lots you're thinking about doing on the back.
So honestly, even if
Yeah,
going back to scratch, if we're just gonna put one house back here.
oh, okay.
If
That's
you-
what we're
so how do,
talking- okay.
if we're just trying to access one house,
Okay.
now I'm trying to figure out what the best approach.
Okay, okay, I thought we were still talking about.
I just wanna
dividing that
know
up in the back.
if we're gonna go with one house or 5 houses or 50 houses, just the,
Yep.
obviously.
Yep.
A two-way access drive, if you're gonna have 3 or 4 homes, which even if we do, we need the two-way access. Can you even get a one-way access with one home in the back? And what is that? What are the
Yeah.
limitations? There's already a crossing now, but it's not good for.
cars and.
I doubt
We
if the
walk-
fire marshal will go
But
with
again,
that.
that's all on you guys now. So you have our
Yeah.
input and that's, you know, that's
Yeah.
that's as far as I want to go on this, because I don't want to get,
Sure.
Yeah, it's not for us to design it,
that's right. It's for you guys. So that's our input.
but that's how you're gonna have to cross that. And we've, along that access through there, we have faced this several times.
Yep.
There's major wetlands running through there.
Yep.
Nice wetlands, important wetlands.
Mhm.
So we've faced this a number of times already. And I can say that to my knowledge, none of those plans have ever come to fruition because of what the problems are.
Anyway, I think that's,
Gotcha.
we should, yeah. That's good.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming out.
Thank you.
You're nice too. We'll miss you also.
They'll be back again, something else soon. It's been a little while. It's quite the development before us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm. Thanks.
Have a good night, guys.
Same.
Good night.
All right.
All right, where are we now? Now it's getting warm in here.
That warmed up.
Just need to get, I'm like, oh.
All right. All right, I don't really have anything. It's been so dry that there's
So dry.
Yeah.
very
Like, can't
little
even make it
happening.
up. They started work on the corner of Cedar Road and 215, and he's been able to cut all that Phragmites. Because he can walk.
Just walk out there.
Yeah, it's so dry, yeah.
So, I mean.
Yep.
Again,
Right.
I ad nauseum, I tell you guys, I've lived here my whole life. I used to
It's
skate on,
never
I've
be
never
that
seen
dry.
it.
Yeah, I just went by today and checked it out.
Insane, right?
Really?
Yeah.
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 Oh, well, it's what it is.
Very dry.
They're doing a lot with that property on Route 1. You know, where the massage parlor was, with
Oh,
the
yeah.
whole thing in the back?
Yep.
My God.
Yep.
Oh, they're starting.
That's
They're
right.
doing a lot of stuff around.
Yep.
Yeah, well,
What's
we
this one?
knew
Barbara?
that,
Can't
but
hear you.
Right.
the massage parlor.
The former massage
Yeah.
therapy
Oh,
school.
yeah, I know,
Yeah,
they were working
yeah.
on that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
that was
started-
pretty
They're in
crazy
the
to see
middle
that
of
whole
that.
Yeah,
face.
yeah.
I know.
Yep.
I know.
Yep.
That's good.
Yep, that's the second phase. The third phase will be a building out front.
Yeah.
Yep.
Are they being
All right,
careful
Jeff,
about
you
the
have
Coffee
anything?
shop.
in the
Yeah.
front though?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, oh, yeah. Yeah, sediment erosion controls are all in, and
Yeah.
I've been out there a couple of times.
Sounds
Yeah.
good. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, I know what I wanted to ask. So I already asked this to Deb, but there are wetlands flags on Cedar Road. And I'm like, what?
Oh, yes.
Something about drainage?
Right, you know, Public Works is
Yes.
preparing a
Saw that.
plan to address some drainage issues out there. So if there are inland
Drainage
wetlands,
with
you
the
will see it.
tide.
I don't know. I don't know.
Anyway,
But if it's inland wetlands, you'll certainly see it. If it's tidal, as long as they stay out of the wetland, they don't need state permitting. But again,
that'll be
I've
interesting.
not seen
That'll
it.
be interesting to see what those drainage,
Yeah.
I mean, those dug ditches that are
Yeah.
now, what, 60 years old?
Yeah.
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 Anyway.
They're getting ready to dig under Elm Street too, to replace that pipe underneath the road near me.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. On 215. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. By the marsh there.
Oh,
A stake with orange ribbons
Right.
in front of my
Yep.
house.
Mm-hmm.
And there was somebody measuring something or other today.
It's a lot of work.
We're likely to see a lot more of that because I know the guys that were digging on Pequot told me that the pipes are over 100 years old.
Yeah.
So,
So I think Dave has.
All right, motion to
Wait,
adjourn.
wait,
Hold on, one little thing.
Sorry.
That's right. The annual Khaki Whack conference is coming up in November. It's Saturday, November 16th.
Yep.
It's in Bristol, Connecticut. So if anyone's interested, just let us
I
know.
think we got an email about.
You should,
that.
yeah, you did. It was on
Yeah.
that. I just want to remind you all
Yeah.
in case you didn't see that.
Right. Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
we have a second.
Yep.
Yep. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
Great, thank you.
We're out.
This.